10 News begins with breaking news.
The 5 and the 8 at times in a virtual standstill this evening. A man is threatening to jump from an overpass.
10 News has been tracking this story since the Now at 4. Reporter Emily Fode got to the scene in the last half hour. And Emily, what is the situation where you are right now?
So we have a lot of cars backed up. This is a northbound 5. You can see how slow it is. Traffic is stopped on the southbound 5. I'm going to step out of the way. We're not going to show you the guy, but we're going to show you where the police are. They've stepped back quite a ways from the man. So that right there, you're looking at a police command center they just brought out, and that is the I-8 on-ramp to the I-8 headed out to Ocean Beach if you're heading north on the 5. So they have closed that down as well. And we also noticed that when we zoomed in, there's some negotiators talking to this man. One of them was also wearing an NCIS vest, and that's something that we don't normally see in these situations. So we're not exactly sure why NCIS is out here right now. So the police were very close to the man up until about 15 minutes ago, and then they stepped back. So we're gonna have more on this as it develops. Avoid this area at all costs if you do need to head down the 5. I'm live in Old Town. Emily Fode, back to you.
All right, we know that you'll stay there, and hopefully this situation resolves itself successfully. Thank you, Emily. Brian Schlonsky is in the 10 News Live Center monitoring how this is affecting traffic. Brian, the roads are a mess there right now.
As you can imagine, you heard Emily say, stay away from this area at all costs, unless you want to sit in traffic, because here is where she's standing. You see those alerts right at the 5 and the 8 where that man has been threatening to jump, at one point shutting down the 5 in both directions. You see these southbound freeways, really the worst of it. We travel the 5 there up to the 805 connector. It is backed up all the way to the incident there, and then drivers heading east to try to take other ways south. The 805 not going to be any better, neither is the 163. If you can make it to the 15 that far east, that's your best bet. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Brian. Well, we'll continue to monitor the situation and send an alert through our free 10 News mobile app. When it's over, just search 10 News in your app store.
Happening right now, the Escondido community is working to tackle their gang problem and put an end to violence.
This comes just weeks after a woman was killed in the crossfire of a gang shooting. And tonight, local leaders are coming together in hopes of stopping more innocent lives from being taken. 10 News reporter Jennifer Dela Cruz is live where that meeting begins shortly. Jennifer?
Well, organizers are still setting up here tonight. They'll be handing out pamphlets. They also have a presentation ready to go. There's going to be representatives from the North County Gang Violence Task Force, in addition to Escondido Police, to answer any and all questions anyone might have. They tell me this meeting was already scheduled before Catherine Kennedy was shot and killed. They say because of that, they're expecting more people than ever before. 55-year-old Catherine Kennedy was heading home from Bible study, but she would never make it there. She was killed in the crossfire of a turf war by 2 gang members. But the violence in Escondido is nothing new.
It continues, to evolve based on grandparents to parents to children to now grandchildren.
A variety of programs are in place to fight it, but it still doesn't end.
I think we've done a lot of work, but we still haven't stopped the violence.
Escondido police say there are about 450 documented gang members in the community. Despite their efforts, that number hasn't gone down in years. After the city's most recent loss to gang violence, more people are talking. Like Agner Medrano, who spent years in a North County gang.
There's peer pressure, there's power, a feel of wanting to be a part of something, and the gang provides all that.
We're excited.
He's out now, helping others do the same.
It's still a challenge because it takes the whole village.
He says they won't ever go away.
You'll never get rid of gangs. It's part of the culture. But one thing that we could do is minimize the violence.
When that violence does happen, like Catherine Kennedy's death, he says it doesn't go unrecognized by the people behind it.
You pretend that you don't have feelings, but when you get home, you think about all that. Or when you're locked up behind bars or in juvenile hall, you think about the things that you did and you feel sorry, but sometimes it's too late.
Organizers from some gang outreach programs say the best thing they can do is work on prevention and keep kids from joining gangs in the first place. Tonight's meeting starts at 6:30. It is open to the public. I'm monitoring some of the details that they'll be discussing, and I'll have that information for you at 7 o'clock on 10 News. Reporting live in Escondido, Jennifer Dela Cruz, 10 News.
Let's hope they find some solid solutions. Thank you, Jennifer. Well, only on 10 News, a bloody scene in La Jolla as a man riding his skateboard to work, look at this, meets a giant pothole. As reporter Michael Chen found out, one feature of this pothole made it even more dangerous than some others.
Scrapes all over.
There's 8 staples here.
And pain all over his head hours after. A ride on this skateboard
I came off and I heard my head hit.
turned ugly. This morning, Eric Nunn, who owns an IT business, was on his skateboard on Coast Boulevard headed to work.
I was coming down the hill along the right side.
Because of the angle of the hill, he says he never saw the giant pothole near this crosswalk
I tried to hop over it or do something.
until it was too late. After he hit the pothole, he says he flung forward a good 15, 16 feet, hitting hard on the cement.
I woke up, I was laying on the side like this, and I saw a bunch of blood already.
Among his injuries, a gash to his head and a concussion, along with the pain.
City shouldn't have potholes as large as this.
Pothole frustrations. In the past few months, the city has settled with several cyclists who claim they suffered serious injuries because of uneven pavement and potholes to the tune of more than $5 million.
I get calls almost weekly from potential clients who have either injured themselves or their property.
Lawyer Evan Walker says it's time for the city to prioritize repairs.
I think the city should be spending some more time and resources and money into fixing the failing state of the infrastructure instead of time and again paying out settlement after settlement.
Fix these things so other people don't continue to get hurt.
Michael Chen, 10 News.
San Diego police say it is illegal for skateboarders to ride on public roads, but Nunn says that path is a popular one for skateboarders, adding the pothole could injure also pedestrians and cyclists.
New at 6 o'clock, the family of a doctor who died swimming in Coronado is now suing the city. Dr. John Baldwin drowned after getting caught in a riptide near the Hotel del Coronado last April. The father of 2 served on President Obama's U.S. Defense Health Board, which is responsible for overseeing military health care. Baldwin's family claims the city is responsible because lifeguards should have been able to save him.
State lawmakers have until next week to approve a road repair package that would raise our gas tax 12 cents. And we have new information on how Californians feel about the plan. A statewide 10 News Union Tribune poll asked how you would rate our roads. Only about 1/3 said good or excellent. Most people said the roads are fair or poor. And San Diegans are pretty split on whether or not the tax increase is even a good idea. 37% support it, while 44% oppose it. The deadline for lawmakers to approve the proposal is April 6th.
New developments: the Mexican Attorney General accused of conspiring to smuggle drugs into the U.S. will remain behind bars. Edgar Vitia was arrested at the Otay Mesa border crossing yesterday. He is the Attorney General for a western Mexican state just north of Puerto Vallarta. If convicted, Vitia will be facing $250 million in fines. It's unclear how long he could spend locked up. He will remain behind bars until he's formally charged in New York next month.
Crime alert. Deputies are searching for 2 burglars who ditched their getaway truck after breaking into a bait shop. Deputies say the men broke into Hooked Bait and Tackle in Santee around 2 o'clock this morning. They saw the truck leaving and tried to chase it but lost it. People at the apartment complex then called them, saying the men ditched the truck and ran off. Deputies are still searching for them tonight.
Just days after we discovered a baby in San Diego was born with Zika-related birth defects, researchers have announced a breakthrough that could lead to a cure. UC Riverside researchers have been looking into the structure of the virus, and they're the first to identify what Zika's essential protein looks like. They hope that that will allow researchers to figure out the weak spot and target it with a drug.
New details in the plan to bring universal health care to San Diegans. Under the single-payer plan, State Senator Tony Atkins wants California to cover all medical expenses for every resident, regardless of immigration status. That includes inpatient and outpatient costs, emergency services, dental, vision and mental health. The program would also remove co-pays and deductibles. This new version of the proposal still does not say, though, how the state will pay for it.
A developing story: Chula Vista Police could have a new tool this summer to help them find missing children and elderly people. They plan to start launching drones in July. They will be equipped with a camera, and someone on the ground will be in control. Officers want everybody to know the cameras won't be used for random surveillance, and police will need a search warrant and permission to fly them where somebody's privacy could be invaded. The department is in the final stages of researching this plan.
New details on a wildfire that destroyed about 50 homes in San Luis Obispo last summer. CAL FIRE now saying a car started the chimney fire. Someone was driving the car along a dirt road in August when it went over some dry grass. The heat from the car ignited the grass and the flames quickly spread. Investigators found the driver after speaking with a farmer who saw the car. The driver will not face any charges since it was an accident.